You did it. Oh, fucking hell.
I didn't say that, Ollie.
No, you said, oh, just timing.
Kids, they repeat everything you say. Welcome to another episode, guys, of Simply Fits YouTube. And today I'm going to be talking about my DIY toaster rack. So basically, we're building our house at the moment, and there's a lot of leftover framing timber in the bin. And I've had my racks, I've had my bumpers stored on top of each other in the bumper plate storage or the plate storage at the back of my Force USA squat stands for quite some time. And it just got annoying because if I wanted to get my 25 kilo bumpers, they're at the very bottom. I've got to take them all off and get to the 25s. So a toaster rack is conventionally a place for your bumper bars to stand upright and be separated and easy to go into. And they're fairly expensive to buy, so I thought I've got some leftover wood, I'll try to make them. So as you can see, this was one of my first attempts where I was putting the bumper plates in separately and then screwing each of them. I went through a few different combinations to see the best way to build it, the strongest way, and I come up with a nice efficient way to do them properly towards the end. So I had all my cuts, so each of the cuts for the sides is around about 48 centimeters long, and I drilled the holes into them, pre-drilled for the screws. I obviously refined this towards the end, but then I've got the horizontal cuts where the wood sits in between the bumpers, and they were 32 centimeters long. Easiest way to recommend doing this is just get your bumper plates, set them on the side of your side piece of wood, and then see how far you want them to fall into it and go from there. So I was just doing a little bit of a rebaited part for the holes here for my screws to fit into. So bumper plate holders are really good. They keep your bumper plates nice and neat. They keep them off the floor and out the way, but they're also functional where you can line them up underneath the bench or the rack where you're using them, and then they're easy just to slide one of the bumpers off and then get it as you go. So I really recommend getting one. If you make them yourself, it's good. This obviously cost me nothing. I had the screws and I've got everything else at home. So it was just a really good little project to do. As I said, I probably made about 6 or 7 different racks to end up with 2 that I've kept, but I was in really no rush and just mucking around. So the issues with this rack here, how I've done it is it looks, even though it looks good there, it was too tight on my bumper plates. So what I found out with my bumpers was, even though they're all Expeed brand and these are the regular bumper plates, half of the set have got raised numbering, whereas the other half have got the flat numbering. You can see this set's got the raised numbering. Those bumper plates are actually about 1 to 2 millimeters thicker than the other ones. So you need to be careful when you are doing your measurements for the bumper plates. Make sure you use the exact bumper plate you're going to put in each of the slots.
Maybe one hammer. Maybe one. Not hammer, then you get away.
So that was that finished rack. I had measured them out and done it by tape measure and then put it together, and it worked out okay. It looked neat, but now I had another crack properly now, and this is the way I've ended up doing it. So I cut the end pieces and then I used my nail gun to actually nail it into place temporarily while I get it all lined up properly. I would nail it in on the top and the bottom, and then I'd put each plate in. And bear in mind, you need to put each specific plate in because some plates are thicker than others, like I just explained. So whatever rack you're using, make sure you put it in the right bumper wherever it goes. So I just did that, went through all the weights and made sure it all lined up properly and there was no gaps. And that's the easiest way that I found. Don't bother measuring your plates and say the 25 kilo one might be 55 mils thick. Don't just measure 55 mils on your wood and then think it's going to be right. I think the easiest way is to do what I'm doing just here, put them in. I think actually in a moment I'll put in the other side part, which you get the exact width then. The outtake at the front of the video was obviously when I was doing the 10 kilo one and it fell over and it hit that little plant in the planter box there. If you look online for a standard bumper plate or a toaster rack holder, you're looking at sort of minimum $100 to $150, and they range up from then onwards. So considering this cost me nothing, I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I like to do projects at home with the boys and show them how to use the tools and get them involved, and it's just something that I like to do. And if you can save money in your home gym, why not? Because exercise equipment does cost a lot of money, and if you can get a bit of value back every now and then, it's the best thing that you can do. So once I've set up this bumper plate storage, you can guarantee the way I'm doing it here, it's going to be fine once I put it all together. And the next step of that was to obviously get both of the ones that I've made and put all the bumpers in it and just make sure it sits in the area where I want them to end up nicely. So like I explained just before, once it's beside the rack or the designated area, you just want to make sure that there's enough room for you to be doing your work, like your bench pressing, your squats, without hitting the bumpers when they're set up. So this is nice and compact and easy to get to, and you can see it looks good too. So I thought they're done. I need to give them a bit of paint to match the color coding of Simply Fit. So just took them around the side, got my sander with 120 and 240 grit sandpaper, and give them a decent sand over. Just got rid of any hard edges, and because it is obviously just framing timber, so just did that, and then got some cheap gloss black paint that I already had in the shed, and gave it 3 or 4 coats. I made sure to do all the sides of it and just give it a nice coat. It actually dried up really well, and the bumpers fit in perfectly. And I've got 2 solid toaster racks. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's a bit of a easy video, bit of fun to do. It looks good and it matches my color scheme, and best of all, because it's outside, it's gonna last. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, like, and remember, keep flexing.